leaks, mold, and expensive damage. Most commercial roofs fail slowly until they fail big. Why rip it off when you can restore it? Our silicone coatings stop leaks, prevent mold, and extend your roof life without the high replacement cost. It's a 30-year watertight roof, energy efficient, leak-free, and half the cost of replacement. And it's backed by GE's manufacturer warranties. Facility managers love this. No disruption, no tear off, and long-term protection for your property. Trust Absolute Restoration for your commercial roof.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts.
Well, Matt, I think if you don't mind behind the scenes getting this together real quick, I might have clicked something here real quick. There we go. Okay, and do you mind changing the monitor behind me real quick as well?
I'll bring it back here into the mobile room, the Room Weather Center here for just a moment. I'll let you hit that button kind of behind the scenes there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Gabe Maynor, who's going to be doing a lot more tracking here in just a couple moments on the tropics, which continue to be active along the east coast of the United States. But want to welcome you in here to the Room Weather Center at Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Our forecast over the next couple of days continues to be well above what we typically would expect for this time of year. Dry weather continues to be the overall headline of the weather pattern, though. I know we desperately need some moisture and not much on the way really anytime soon. We will look at how that works in the extended forecast in a few minutes. Seasonable temperatures as warm afternoons do continue. I mean, come on, high temperatures, upper 80s. That's a bit above what we typically expect for this time of year. It's not record setting by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly running on the warm side. And we are looking at the latest on some of those rain chances, as I alluded to just a moment ago there. But outside, as we look at your forecast for the first 12, we're 84 degrees at 6 p.m., 73 as we look toward 9, rain coverage around 10%. That's probably overdoing anything we have out there, but there's a couple little sprinkles we'll look at on Mississippi Live Weather Radar here in a moment. We're 69 at midnight, 67 degrees by 3 o'clock in the morning, and back into the mid-60s by the first part of early Tuesday morning. Again, mostly clear conditions remain the overall headline, perfectly placed out here in Aberdeen. And good evening to y'all in Monroe County out there. Hopefully you had a fantastic weekend. 86 the temperature at this time, feels like around 90 degrees or so. That dew point, not super high, but upper 60s, at least a little bit of stickiness noticeable out there. It's certainly not cool by any stretch of the imagination. We're coming in Batesville at 88 degrees for that temperature. Feels like temperature coming in around 88. The dew point value not showing up quite as high there on some light winds. Again, clear skies there in Panola County and mostly clear conditions also down in Edinburgh there. 88 the temperature, a little bit more of a northerly breeze at that location. And again, the traffic moving nicely. One thing I notice in these trees, they are all perfectly green. And maybe it's just my house. Maybe it's just distress from the lack of moisture. But I'm starting to see just a little more color in some of those trees. If you notice that, snap a picture and send it in with Mississippi Live Weather app if that happens to be the case for you. Looking at the latest on Mississippi Live Weather Radar here, not showing much in the way of precipitation out there. As I put this in the motion over, I'm going to make this a 3-hour loop. If you look really closely, we've had a couple little sprinkles. Watch, but don't blink. Or else they'll be gone pretty quickly. This, again, we're 5 o'clock now, 2 o'clock here. Now watch just for the briefest of moments right there near Lynn, near Carbon Hill, a couple little sprinkles. There are a few of these little waves moving in, coming from the north and west, these darker green lines, north and east, as those kind of translate in. The briefest of rain chances, not impossible, but for most of us, not expecting much as far as that is concerned, as those are mainly just bugs. And as Gabe and I spent a little time looking at earlier, probably some birds beginning to think at least about migrating there. No real precipitation of note there as we look on Mississippi Live Weather Radar close to home, but obviously as you go back toward the east, things are different. Of course, the tropics, very active here. So we have Imelda there, the farther, I guess, to the west of those two, and then Umberto. So 2 tropical systems have we just had very few so far this season of significance. Now, here's the deal. Both of these are expected to kind of curve up out that direction. Gabe will talk more about that here in a minute and really break it down during our 6 o'clock broadcast. The takeaway is when you're on the east side of one of these, on the west side of one of these systems, like we are, if this is even drawing anything to it, what's it drawing in? It's not drawing in moisture, it's drawing in drier air. And so that's what we largely have here. Again, those northerly winds from a landmass, drier air, and something that keeps any meaningful precipitation from being something that we have. So again, we stay clear and dry as a result of that. So with that in mind, as we look ahead here over the course of this evening, you'll notice again, lots of rainfall there toward the East Coast, out toward the Carolinas associated with that. This does show the briefest of sprinkles trying to show up. One of the things I find interesting about this, you see how there's like almost a trail behind each of the little blips of green that it has, as if to say rain will fall but slowly stay behind. And that's a sign that we're not going to see any sort of meaningful rainfall from this. We're going to probably stay dry into this evening as a result of that. As that does continue to show, again, it's a non-zero rain chance, but certainly Jackson, south toward Hattiesburg, back there toward Baton Rouge, New Orleans, more likely to see moisture. And even there, the chances aren't nearly as good as obviously what they have back toward the East Coast there. So 3 o'clock in the morning, still dry, mostly clear across the Magnolia State. And any moisture kind of approaching us from the west is a non-issue. We're kind of in this zone. We're drawing in, again, the drier air associated with this. And our next system's still very disorganized. Not a setup that's going to bring us a lot of meaningful moisture in the near term. That's why, again, tomorrow, after a fairly mild start at 64 degrees, we're 71 by 9 a.m., 85 by noon, 89 by 3 p.m., and on the way to the mid-80s as we head toward tomorrow in the early evening. Our north winds, northeast winds, a direction, again, air mass is dry. Air mass, what makes up the air, it's coming from land. That's not bringing us a lot of meaningful moisture. And so, of course, that keeps us dry and clear. But come up here in 60 seconds. Again, we are looking a little bit at the tropics, how things are behaving, and towards some of those rain chances going forward. That's as Mississippi Live weather at the 5 o'clock here continues from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
At Room to Room, the VIP sale is here. And for a limited time, enjoy an extra 10% off Row furniture. From classic neutrals to bold statement pieces, Row gives you modern style with timeless comfort. Don't miss the VIP sale happening now, only at Room to Room Tupelo.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, the beautiful blue skies continue to stick around heading into our Monday afternoon and evening. Getting a live look there out of Caledonia, 89 degrees, but those breezy conditions pushing in out of the north-northeast about 10 to 15 miles an hour. That helps cool things off, but it also helps circulate in some dry air. That's a prominent feature in our forecast as high pressure has remained the dominant thing here, not just over Mississippi, not just over the southeast, but really over the entire eastern United States. 88 degrees Cleveland, 13 miles an hour coming out of the northwest. So you can see those breezy conditions just blowing across that American flag right now, kind of knocking the camera side to side. Yeah, it's just going to be cycling in some of that drier and cooler air as we get further into our Monday evening. Greenville, 88 degrees and winds still about 10 to 15 miles an hour. So a breezy day, but if anything, this just adds to what has already been a fantastic Monday all the way around. I know we don't like Mondays as soon as we get into the work week, but this Monday, at least you can give it a little bit of a gold star for at least making it passable, should I say. Mississippi Live Weather Radar across North Mississippi, those dry conditions prevailing once again. But like our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon was saying just a few moments ago, a few sprinkles are definitely possible heading into this afternoon and evening, but I mean, you'll blink and you'll miss it. That's how limited those rain chances are. We see 10% by around 7. I would honestly lower that and say about 5, 6, maybe even 7%. So not really all the way up to 10, but the chances are still there for a few folks. 9 p.m., much drier conditions, and even by 11, dry conditions across North Mississippi. But temperature-wise, cooling off into our forecast for our Tuesday. So enjoy that as those cool conditions remain in place. 7 p.m., there's a look at some of those potential sprinkles, should I say, towards Montgomery County, Monroe County, and even up there towards Lauderdale County in Alabama. Those trying to get into North Mississippi, but again, a lot of this not reaching the surface. So we are continuing to stay on those dry the dry side with dry conditions prevailing overnight and into the start of our Tuesday. I know Futurecast, a little bit ambitious, but I just dial that back a bit, and that's actually the realistic expectations we should have with those drier conditions once again still in place. Now we do have this little bit of cloud cover that starts to move in there towards our southwest counties. No rainfall associated with it, but if anything, it's just going to block that sunshine from heating us up as much. But low temperatures for our forecast at the start of our Tuesday: 62 Bruce, Water Valley, Oxford, Holly Springs, and then 64 towards Amory and Houston, 65 Columbus and Starkville. So that's what we're talking about, those cool conditions right around our seasonable average for this time of year. No complaints here. Just glad it's not in the 90s, right? Futurecast for your Tuesday morning, starting off on the drier side with that cloud cover as the day goes on, starting to dissolve on out. But for a few locations, those partly cloudy conditions will remain in place. 9 a.m. still sticking around, but even into those lunch hours, you can see the streak across North Mississippi continuing to remain, but no rain chances associated with it. So that's a good thing. Another dry day in our forecast, or I guess it depends on your perspective. Dry conditions can be good, dry conditions can be bad. A lot of folks needing that water. Matt, I know your tree's needing water, so I apologize for saying good thing. I guess we do need a few drops of rainfall. 1:30 though, at least it's good for any of those outdoor plans because we will be able to get outside and get out and about. So any of those afternoon soccer games as we get done with school and head out to those parks, well, they'll continue to be good to go. 4 p.m., a little bit of that moisture similar to what we're seeing in southern Mississippi right now, possible for our forecast on our Tuesday evening, but rain chances again are limited to practically nothing as a large part of that remains elevated and not reaching the surface all the way even into those Tuesday evening hours. High temperatures, yes, we are warming back into the 90s for a few locations, including Greenwood, Clarksdale, Tunica, Grenada, even out here east there towards Lamar County and Vernon, Alabama. So the potential is there for a little bit of a heating trend, but this is actually the warmest it'll be over the next 7 days, starting to cool off into the weekend. So add another good thing to that forecast. 8 p.m. on your Tuesday, still with those dry conditions remaining in place. And that's really what we'll see overnight and into the start of our Wednesday. Just not going to be a moist area here in North Mississippi. So that's again, fortunate for those outdoor activities, unfortunate for getting those crops watered or trees watered or plants watered, anything like that. Trying to be a little bit ambitious, but again, you see which model this is, our strike model, and that's always ambitious on those rain chances. So we have that more on the drier side with a few sprinkles possible, but not going to see as scattered as what that model was showing. Even into those overnight hours, the little chances we do have clear on out, and we'll enjoy those dry conditions once again heading into our Thursday. Yes, this is a very dry week, but it's also going to be a seasonable week. Temperature-wise, you can already see those temperatures being pulled back just a bit, even if it's just a degree or two for our Wednesday afternoon. We're only seeing 90 in Grenada, 89 Water Valley, and 88 there towards Oxford, 87 around New Albany. But the thing is, dry conditions. That's what I want to emphasize. And those dry conditions help build our temperatures up. Sunshine more prominent, and that rainfall not bringing that rain-cooled air that we typically experience with a few of those showers. So forecasted rainfall, we don't foresee it being completely dry, but I mean reaching those dark blues possible, meaning just a few hundredths possible. That's the extent of our rainfall heading over the next 7 days. So not exactly a good outlook, but heading into Sunday and Monday, the potential for a little bit of moisture moving in from the Gulf, and that'll bring us some scattered showers there towards early next week. The thing is, it's Monday right now. We're talking about a week from Monday, so it's not exactly going to bring meaningful moisture. And this time of year, we rely on the tropics to supply a large part of our showers. And looking in the Atlantic right now, we do have those two disturbances, but the big one that we're watching right now, and I apologize, I meant to change that title at the top of the screen, but Umberto continuing to build in the Atlantic, currently a Category 4 hurricane with it's going to have the wrong numbers. I apologize. I will get that fixed for 6. But as you can see, a Category 4, 140 miles an hour, 120 there, Category 3, and then Category 2 there towards Tuesday afternoon. That continues to cycle north and then northeast into the northern Atlantic, so not going to pose a threat for us here in the United States. So fortunately, we're not getting the effects of a Category 4 hurricane. But you might notice as this satellite imagery kind of fades away, there's Umberto right there, but we do have Imelda just off the east coast there of Florida. That's continuing to build up there towards the Atlantic, and we could see a little bit of those showers try to wrap around here to North Mississippi, maybe giving us the potential of a few showers, but that's a little bit more of a far-fetched idea, but it's possible into the coming days. But where our disturbance will develop will be down there in the Gulf in the extended forecast next 6-7 days, and then moving into the Gulf Coast area, and then of course North Mississippi included with a few of those bands. But again, those chances limited and not exactly very high. Some of our long track models having it on Sunday, others having doing it primarily on Monday, but the chances are there and been pretty consistent that we will get some of that action. Again, we'll talk through more detail coming up tonight at 6, but a lot to track when it comes to the tropics, and it's been busy the past few days and continues to ramp up in that extended forecast. But temperature-wise, I did say it would enter a little bit of a cooling trend. We will see the 90s, 89, 90 degrees for our Tuesday, 88 for Wednesday, 87 Thursday, and by the time we get into the weekend, we're going to see mid-80s return. Low temperatures, yeah, we're in the mid-60s right now. I'm not complaining one bit about that, but as we get further into the weekend, those temperatures fall back closer to our normal low, around 60 degrees Saturday and 63 for the weekend. So lots to look forward to in that extended forecast. Lots of good with this forecast. So let's enjoy it. Let's get outside, take advantage of those dry conditions, but of course, make sure to stay cool with those warmer temperatures there towards the afternoon. So as we mentioned, we will be having more information coming up on the tropics coming up tonight at 6. More information coming up on our extended forecast tonight at 6. And Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon joining us again for the very latest on what to expect. You can download the app and get access 24/7 to all the weather information you need to know using our QR codes right here on the bottom left and right of your screen. But our broadcast schedule, you can always tune into that on our social medias and the app. Another reason to download it. That next broadcast happening tonight at 6, and then we have another one at 10 p.m. walking through the latest model runs, and morning show always readily available at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 each morning throughout the week.
Get ready for a night of inspiration, laughter, and support. Join us on Saturday, October 4th at 6 p.m. at the Tupelo Cotton Mill, where outstanding men from our community will walk in her shoes. You'll hear powerful stories from survivors and caregivers, enjoy delicious food and drinks, and experience live entertainment in an evening filled with fellowship, fun, and hope. All proceeds go to support those bravely fighting cancer. This event is powered by Wear It Well